Hey guys, welcome back. And I kind of feel like I need to go over this rumor, this recent story that we're hearing about how Star Wars or Disney is looking to sell Star Wars back to George Lucas, and it's just, I don't know, it seems like a bunch of crazy talk, and I kind of want to break down the reason why I feel that way. And so, just as kind of a recap, I know I've done videos on Disney, on Star Wars, on Lucasfilm in general, but let's just kind of recap where we are right now with the state of Disney financially and where they are with Star Wars. Article from Screen Rant from about 13 hours ago says Lucasfilm's behind-the-scenes problems revealed in bombshell new book. Maureen Ryan, who wrote a book, Burn It Down, explores the problems in Hollywood and reveals the behind-the-scenes issues affecting Lucasfilm and Star Wars as well. And, you know, we don't have to go through this whole article, but it's pretty well documented, not just from this book, but from many, many different sources, that Disney is in a bad place, both with Star Wars, with Lucasfilm, with their streaming rights, with their issue with Comcast, where they're going to owe Comcast a bunch of money for their partnership with the whole Hulu and streaming. It's a big mess. Too much to explain right now, but they're in a very bad spot financially. And so, you know, they're looking at the possibility of what is Disney going to do to repair the damage. Well, Disney Plus is not cutting it. They're not making any money. They're losing money on Disney Plus. They don't have the money that they thought they were going to make. They have less subscribers. They're losing subscribers. Their stock is tanking. There's articles coming out now saying how Kathleen Kennedy and Lucasfilm have lost their magic. There's no Force left in Star Wars. There's just nothing there. And executives have too much power at Lucasfilm, absolutely. And so that's kind of where we are right now. Lucasfilm being committed to diversity, pushing the female-driven agenda, ignoring the original characters, which we saw in this Disney Star Wars trilogy. They basically cast the original, characters to the background. They didn't want them anywhere near the story. They wanted to make them old and problematic. They wanted to feature the new characters. So now there's actually articles coming out saying how Kathleen Kennedy is part of the problem, even if she's not the problem entirely. Her leadership is not, or it's not going the way as planned. There's too much damage at this point to say that things are going smoothly. Now she has confirmed that season 2 of Obi-Wan is not going to happen, and I'm not shocked whatsoever. Obi-Wan was not well received. It had decent viewership, but generally it was pretty well split between the Disney Star Wars fans and the OG Star Wars fans. So now we have this show, which was supposed to be one of those tentpole, let's try to bring back in the prequel fans and the Ewan McGregor fans and get them to come back to Disney Star Wars. Yeah, it didn't work. I literally skipped over the show. I couldn't have cared less. It was like, whatever. And of course, they're trying to push Ahsoka, and that's a really interesting one too, because while Rosario Dawson did a good job with the character, and the character does kind of stem from the Clone Wars, Dave Filoni, George Lucas side of Star Wars, it definitely feels like it's being pushed towards the female-driven, Kathleen Kennedy-led Lucasfilm again. It doesn't feel like original Star Wars at this point. And then we have like the Solo Star Wars movie, which lost money. I'm not going to get into whether you like the Solo movie or the prequels better or the Disney. I don't care. For the sake of this video, the point is that Disney is in a very bad place financially. So that's where we have this rumor, and of course our favorite gossip monger, rumor, insider, Overlord DVD. Look, my opinion on Overlord DVD, if you've never seen his content, one out of 10 times he might be right about something. That doesn't mean that he is lying. It doesn't mean that he is intentionally misleading his audience, but he's doing it as performance, and as such he gets clicks, okay? So do I think he honestly believes that Star Wars is going to get sold back to George Lucas? I don't know. Is it a possibility? I don't believe so, and here's kind of why. This article from Inside the Magic says that there's a fan theory suggesting Disney is trying to, quote, sell Star Wars. Now, I do believe it's possible that Disney could at some point down the road sell the franchise if they believed it was profitable enough. However, I do not believe it'll be back to George Lucas, and here's why. From Inside the Magic here, the article goes to say, in the midst of Disney cutting content from Disney Plus and laying off thousands of employees, fans have developed theories regarding their next financial move, and according to some, their best option is to sell the Star Wars IP. One of the most shocking business moves in the entertainment industry is when the Walt Disney Company purchased Lucasfilm and its properties from George Lucas. This gave Disney ownership over Indiana Jones, Willow, and most importantly, Star Wars. Now, I think it's worth noting that right now, with, for example, the cancellation of Obi-Wan's second season, you could also chalk part of that up to the writer's strike that's going on. Now they're saying that there might be an actor's strike. So it's really hard to produce new shows if you have no talent and no writers. And there's no talented writers either, but that's beside the point. With the acquisition of Star Wars, Disney has since produced multiple films, television series, and even Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland and Hollywood Studios at Walt Disney World Resort. However, Uncle Walt's company is not in a good place financially as they were back in 2012. It has since built up a net debt of $39.9 billion, prompting Bob Iger to replace Bob Chapek as CEO, commit mass layoffs, and completely delete multiple films and shows from their streaming services. And if a fan rumor is to be believed, Iger's next move is to sell Star Wars back to Lucas. This right here, I don't buy for a second. According to Twitter user Coco Dragon, they heard a rumor that WDC wants to sell Star Wars back to George Lucas to pay off its debt and or move closer to purchasing the streaming service Hulu. Immediately, other Twitter users were quick to jump on the tweet and declare it false. One person stated, and this is Valiant Renegade, he's a big YouTuber, so he pays a lot of attention to this Disney Star Wars stuff. He went on to say, Disney is cutting stuff right now to strengthen their balance sheet in order to have some leverage capacity to buy the remaining stake of Hulu. They aren't selling Lucasfilm or a theme park. These properties have comparably little value to anyone but Disney. And I think that right there is very much part of the reason that there's no way that this is going to go back to George Lucas, because they're not going to get enough out of it to make it worth selling. I mean, the reality is that they paid him billions of dollars for it. They're now $40 billion almost in the hole. And selling it back to George Lucas for less than $1 billion or whatever they could actually get for it wouldn't do enough to get them out of the mess that they're in. Furthermore, people are doing this whole, oh, well, maybe George Lucas wants to come back and buy it. Remember what he said. 10 years ago, he said, I didn't think I'd be alive to make another Star Wars movie. Now here he is in his, late 70s, early 80s. He would not spend the money to go back and purchase to try and make more Star Wars content at this point now, after he's already been essentially retired for the last 10 years, at least from Lucasfilm. It doesn't make any sense. And Disney doesn't have any sort of loyalty for George Lucas or to George Lucas. It was a business transaction. They thought they could make money. They produced really crappy content. The Willow TV show that they canceled and pulled off Disney Plus to save money was a complete waste of money. I mean, think about it. Lucasfilm got them Indiana Jones, it got them Star Wars, and it got them Willow. Indiana Jones is going to lose them hundreds of millions of dollars when it flops in the theater. Star Wars made them money in theater, but it basically killed the franchise, and it's never coming back. And, Willow was a one-off where it was a good 80s flick that they tried to make a TV show, out of, and it turned out to be the worst TV show ever streamed on any of these streaming services. So, no. I don't for a second believe that they're selling it to anybody, and if they were, they wouldn't be selling it to George Lucas. They would probably wait until after they have some sort of some actual equity built into the Star Wars brand that they've pretty well destroyed. They would have to have some successful movies, because they have a new trilogy they're working on, or 3 new Star Wars movies. Once those movies go to theater and they can show that they're profitable, then they might start shopping it around. But the current state of Star Wars, there's no way that they're going to clearance it off and sell it back to George Lucas. I'm sorry, that just doesn't seem likely. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me know what you guys think. I just don't see it happening. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.